So we're going to get into the third parties or everyone else. So this is just, not PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo. This is third parties. You can have an Ouya prediction if you want, the Ouya 2 resurrected. So my first one is that we already know Red Dead 2 is coming out. I think it's going to come out in September. I don't think that's too bold of a prediction. Rockstar likes to have their games in the fall if when they get them delayed, and I think that because they announced this so far from when they had their reveal trailer, I think they're kind of set in stone. This game's been worked on for a long time, and they know. I don't think this game's going to get delayed, is what I'm basically saying. I think they announced this so far in the future because the game could probably possibly be done by spring, but they know in their past they've had their games delayed multiple times, so I think they're just cool with like, we're going to put a date way out there or just give a year and then we'll tell you guys later. So, I think Red Dead 2 comes out in September.
I'm going to counter that. I'm going to say at E3 they give us a date. Well, not necessarily at E3, but earlier next year they give us a date for fall. And then as that approaches, I'm going to predict that it gets delayed into 2018.
Oh,
just because
wow.
I'm cynical and skeptical of every date anyone ever tells me now.
Yeah. Jordan, what's yours?
I think that it was rumored a couple days ago, but I think Square Enix will announce some sort of Final Fantasy collection for its 30th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
And I also think that Final Fantasy VII Part 1 will come out next year to celebrate the game's 20th anniversary. I think that's kind of a given. It's Square Enix, so I know that could change, obviously, but I think the whole reason that they announced it 2 years ago and then showed a trailer at PSX was because the 20th anniversary is coming up and it'd be pretty much the perfect time to release it. So I think it'll end on the 25th anniversary or maybe a little later. But I'm more excited for that collection, actually, though, of if it's real, but I'm definitely hoping that it is. I think the rumor was it's the first 9 games in the series on for the Vita and the PS4. When they said the Vita, that's why I was like, this definitely could be fake. Like, would Square Enix really port all of those games to the Vita, with trophies and everything? I don't know, but I hope so, because that would be I would buy the collector's edition even if it was $500. That'd be amazing if they did that. So.
Well, I predict it would be the year of our JRPGs, so hopefully that comes true.
That would be the crowning jewel, basically.
Right. And I never played Final Fantasy VII. Obviously, like I said, I'm late to JRPGs. And the remake actually has me super interested. I'm more likely to play a remake of an older game than the older game. And that sucks to say, but a lot of people have nostalgia for games that are older because they played them when they were originally out. And it's unless you absolutely love a franchise, it's hard to go back and play older games. I feel anyways. And I think the remake, hopefully it's not too different than the original as far as its heart. Hopefully, I'll like it. So we'll see.
Cool.
Who cares? A lot of people love it. Who cares if I like it? So my second prediction is that Mass Effect Andromeda and Star Wars Battlefront 2 will both have a DLC timed exclusive to Xbox. It's no surprise that Xbox works hand in hand with EA. EA Access is on Xbox. Battlefield has shifted towards more Xbox centric, just like Call of Duty went towards PlayStation. And I think Mass Effect Andromeda is going to have DLC. Obviously, Star Wars Battlefront 2 will have DLC, and I think that Microsoft is prone to get these deals in place because they know that though it doesn't have a huge effect, I think having that time DLC doesn't hurt. For people who have both consoles, they're like, well, I'll buy it on Xbox because I want that Episode 8 DLC as fast as possible. So, yeah, I don't think that's too crazy of a prediction considering EA's kind of always align themselves with Xbox. So, yeah, what's your next prediction, Dom?
I got whatever the next Wolfenstein game is going to be called coming out next fall. I think Bethesda announces that at E3 and does the short hype cycle like they did with Fallout.
Yeah.
Then also Mass Effect, I'm going to say, gets a date for next fall. Not necessarily a delay because they haven't set a date yet officially, but I think Mass Effect is going to not land until fall.
They did say spring, so it would technically be
they
a delay.
did?
Yeah, they did say spring. So not a solid date, but it is a
yeah.
I don't think those are too crazy. I can't wait for the new Wolfenstein. I loved New Order and I always forget the name of the DLC. Old Blood.
Old Blood.
Yeah, the super great games. Yeah, Bethesda's really learning from that short hype cycle. And, man, if Prey hits next year, too, whoo, baby, it's going to be a good year from them. Jordan, what's your next prediction?
My next prediction is EA will announce Skate 4 at E3 2017.
Oh, baby.
Oh.
Jordan would have loved to be here to hear you say that. He wants to
I'm a huge Skate fan. It's when I had a 360, I played 2 a lot, and I didn't have a 360 anymore when 3 came out, but I did play it a lot still at my friend's house and things like that. I love it. I don't know why they haven't brought it back yet, but I feel like the demand it gets bigger every year for it, and with Sony, I think people could take a note from Sony with how many franchises they've brought back, and the reaction has been completely positive, especially in their sales of PS4s and sales of their exclusives, and their games have all been selling. I'd say well. I think EA would be dumb not to make Skate 4, and I think they are making Skate 4, so hopefully it will be announced.
Especially with the swelling hype of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 and then the disappointment that game was. Yeah. I think he's like, well, we can make a good skate game. We just thought that you guys were over skateboards, So I would love for them to bring that back. I don't know if it would be 4 or if they'd relaunch it because it's been a while, but either way.
It'd be cool if they relaunched it. Any kind of skate game, I'll take.
As bad as the EA conferences has been, if they super truncate the sports and they come out and they're like, new skate game, new Dead Space game, oh my god, it would be amazing. I want a new Dead Space so bad as well. So I think that'd be cool. EA I think can learn from that and bring back those old franchises, like you said, those dormant franchises. I'm looking through my list here. I have a couple more. So Volition, the guys who work on Saints Row and such, their new game Agents of Mayhem had a really weird trailer this year. Looked very generic and tacky. I don't know if you guys saw it.
I forgot about it actually.
So
the first time I've thought about it again.
My prediction is that game either disappears, meaning that they completely scrap the project and they start again on something new, or they rename it and they pitch it as something else. I think Agents of Mayhem is way too bad of a branding and a way too bad of a name, and that trailer was really weird. It just doesn't have a lot of selling power, and I think maybe they looked at how bad Battleborn did with its generic name, and not just just generic game, generic gameplay. Didn't have anything special about it. So my prediction is that Volition's Agent of Mayhem either disappears completely, we never hear about it again, or it gets a rename and they pitch it as something else. So that's one of my predictions. Do you guys have any more third parties?
Yeah, I got one more. I think at E3, also at Bethesda's conference, we'll see Bethesda Softworks, the studio, not the publisher, announce a new IP. Todd Howard has said they're working on several different projects, none of which are Elder Scrolls 6. So I think one of those he considered probably Fallout VR. But I think there's at least one thing they have in the pipeline that they're going to be ready to show. And I think it's going to be outside the realm of what they're usually doing. I don't think it's going to be an open world role-playing game. I think they're going to try to do something a little bit different. I get the vibe that they like what they do with Skyrim and Fallout, but they want to just try something different. That's just the vibe I got from Todd Howard recently, I guess. So.
I could definitely see them doing an RTS with that same IP though, like a Fallout RTS or a Elder Scrolls RTS. That'd be really interesting, and I think it would be refreshing too because a lot of their stuff is first-person action or shooting at Bethesda in general, and I think kind of bringing something that's maybe a competitor to like Civ, though that'd be hard to do, but like something that can compete with different genres and not just be so bland in the same note. I think it'd be interesting too. I think that's a really awesome thing. Yeah,
I think if they did Civ except in Fallout's world, so there was already civilization and now you're rebuilding it instead of building from the beginning, could be interesting.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of. I mean, their IP is pretty strong. Like Fallout's a really strong IP, and so is Elder Scrolls. So they have a lot to work with. And Bethesda in general too. Like, so I'm interested to see what exactly they're going to do, and that'd be cool too. Like I said a little while ago, is like I think them branching out to different genres is going to be something that they want to do because Todd Howard and those guys love what they do, like you said. But they're probably tired of doing the same type of game over and over again. Jordan, do you have any more predictions?
Nope, that was pretty much it for me. But on your Fallout strategy game, I think it'd be cool if they brought back Fallout Tactics.
Yeah,
really, really, really good RTS that people haven't played. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't doubt it. Bethesda announced some kind of new mobile game next year too. Considering Fallout Shelter was such a hit, they're probably gonna be some kind of mobile game.
Well, they got how did I forget? They have Elder Scrolls
Legends.
How's it card? Yeah, that's probably gonna get released next year, I would think.
Yeah, out of its beta stage. So I have two more here. One of them, which I don't know, I don't think either of you guys play sports games for the most part. But so one of my predictions is that Madden will have an actual story slash single player mode. Last year, EA at their conference they announced the single player mode for FIFA. FIFA's the number one selling sports game in the world, and Madden, though it doesn't sell huge worldwide, it is one of the top selling games in the U.S. almost every month for every month it comes after it comes out.
You play as Plaxico Burress. You just shot yourself in the leg, and you have to figure out a way to get back into the league.
Oh God. Well, no. So, like for the FIFA one, they showed off a guy, and he's a character. He has a name. He has a story, and you play through his story, which is kind of like what NBA 2K does, except you create your own character and you kind of fit him into that story, which is weird because, like, in 2K you have like black parents, and if you create a white guy, are you adopted? It's really weird. But I think Madden having a story mode is cool. A lot of sports fans are really upset that NCAA football isn't around anymore because of the whole collegiate athlete getting paid for their performances and stuff kind of situation and their rights. So I think EA is kind of trying to see if they can mend that with implementing the story mode that a lot of people are interested in, but they don't play FIFA or they're not interested in soccer. So and it kind of gives people a reason to buy Madden year after year, because the issue is people are like, well, why don't you just get a roster update? The game doesn't change too much. If you have a new campaign every year, then that does give somebody more of an incentive, right, to buy the game every year if it's a different campaign or something like that. So that's interesting. My last prediction, so the funny thing is, I don't know if did both of you guys watch the Game Awards?
Yes.
One of my friends was super mad that Gearbox kind of blueballed everybody when they came on. They're like, you guys love Borderlands, right? We're making a Bulletstorm remaster with our publishing studio. He was kind of mad about that. So Borderlands 3, I think, gets announced. And my prediction is, I wrote down here, Borderlands 3 gets announced for 2017, then gets delayed out of 2017. So I think they're going to announce it. They're going to give like fall 2017 or winter 2017, and then it just gets delayed to next year. I'm not a huge fan of Borderlands. I think they're great games when you play with people, and they're very mediocre games by yourself. I hope Borderlands 3 is cool. I'm not a big fan of the aesthetic either. A lot of people like that look. I don't, which is weird because like a lot of Telltale games look like that kind of. But I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of Borderlands, but I know everybody is hoping that a third one comes out and they don't valve it and you never get a third Borderlands. And they've said they're working on it. And I mean, Battleborn was such a failure that I think Gearbox is like, yeah, our bread and butter is Borderlands. Let's work on that. They kind of got I don't know if you guys noticed this, but it seems like they kind of got a bravado about themselves after Borderlands 2 came out. And they were super confident in what they were doing. And they're like, well, let's bring out this Battleborn game. And I guess 2K didn't look at the charts and see like, hey, Overwatch is coming out this year, because there's no way in your right mind that you think you can release a multiplayer MOBA-esque shooter in the same year as a Blizzard game and do well, right? Like, I don't know. I just think that they didn't plan that out. And I think that them becoming a publishing house and choosing their first thing to publish is a Bulletstorm remaster is another bad choice. And the whole Duke Nukem thing is like, I don't know. I thought it was kind of like, I was like, please buy this game. It didn't come off as genuine to me personally. But yeah, we'll see what Gearbox does. I've never been a big fan of that studio, so.
I'm not a big fan of Borderlands either, and it's mostly because I love the gunplay. I think it's really great, and I actually like the aesthetic kind of. It's a little different compared to other games like Borderlands that I play. I think what's gonna make or break Borderlands like now for me and probably some other people is I've never liked it a lot because when you're outside doing things, there's not a lot of life to the world. It's a lot of enemies. In worlds like Fallout, like Oblivion, other games, Witcher, games like that, you can find NPCs walking around. You can find other people doing quests. You can find all of these things that make the world really come alive. And Borderlands always had that issue with me where I was always just killing things. And it's not that I don't like doing that. It's just, it gets like, I wish there was more to this than just weapons and killing things. And the hub worlds are where you go and get your quests. I can't just be walking around and talk to some guy and get a quest. I know you could find like things sometimes that would initiate quests, I'm pretty sure, but it wasn't like the same aesthetic that like Fallout gives you when you're exploring and you just stumble upon a settlement and then there's tons of people in there and they need your help defending it or something like that. I think Borderlands needs a lot of that. I don't trust Gearbox as a developer. I don't think they'd be able to pull it off. which is sad to say. But ever since Aliens Colonial Marines, that studio has just left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I hope for the best for them though, but I never want a game to fail. But they do need to change it up a bit if they want to make a sale with me at least.
Funny that you say that, because a lot of the concerns you have for Borderlands, I just realized that's why I'm scared for Breath of the Wild. Everything you said about Borderlands.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
actually something I've looked at with Breath of the Wild too. You're running around the world and it's a lot of monsters. It's not a lot of world, you know?
Yeah.
And not that the game is any less impressive. It's just something that I appreciate in my RPGs and my games that are like open world action, hack and slash, RPG, all that stuff. I appreciate a world that's full of life and not just, point A to point B, some enemies along the way.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for the best.
Dom can't. I was waiting for you to.
I'm
chime
telling
in,
you.
Dom.
I'm telling you. They're just playing us. This is just what they're doing with the demos. They just don't want to show too much. I'm not worried at all.
We'll see. We'll see.